Welcome everyone to Revelation Bible Study. I just want to let you know too that I am going to put back up on Facebook a couple of my old last days and tribulation videos just to coincide with the book of Revelation when I put this particular video up. So you can check that out. Or you can check it in my last days playlist so you can get an idea because these all fit together. And today we're supposed to continue on chapter 6 of Revelation. But before I do that, I want to gather all of the facts together from the book of Mathew. And you can use Mark, where Jesus sits and tells him about the last days, the signs of the age, and the book of Daniel, where it fits in. And it is really hard to get all of your mind around Revelation and the entire Bible, because no matter how you present it, you're going to be missing something. So what I'm trying to do is to fill the gap here before we get to the third seal. So far, the first seal, what was it? It broke, and this person went out without a bow and with a bow without arrows on top of a horse, and he's a great deceiver. And we see something like that right here in the Bible where Jesus is talking, and he says this: "For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and shall deceive many." All right, then he says here in verse 24 of chapter 24, "For there shall arise false Christs and prophets, and shall show great signs and wonder, insomuch that if it were possible, that even the elect would be deceived. Behold, I have told you before." So Jesus has already told us that. And now, as these seals are being broken, somewhere in between here, or if it happened on the first seal, the church is already raptured out. So it happens somewhere in this period of time. I'm not going to define when, because no one knows when. But we will see some things now as we go to the book of Daniel. All right, so we flip over to the book of Daniel, and we're going to be in chapter 11 and verse 36. "And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of the gods, and will prosper till indignation is accomplished. For that is determined shall be done." So this is God saying here, king is going to rise. This false Christ is going to come, and he's going to rise up, and he has a determined time frame. All right, verse 37, "Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of woman, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all." And there some people saying, "Well, what do you mean he doesn't desire?" I think he has one desire, and that desire is to overthrow God and to lead and be the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, which he cannot be. "But in his estate shall he honor the God of forces, and the God whom his fathers knew not shall he honor with gold and silver, and with precious stones and pleasant things." I don't know what this God of forces is, but I could imagine the way our technology is growing, the direction it is going in. Who knows if somebody can create a superhuman being, where they're already talking about putting chips in people, and who knows, even with the possibility of changing DNA in people. Is that even possible? Some of the science fiction things we've had, that we've seen, are now maybe possible. It is a scary thing to see what is happening. But this man will be lifted up so much in his own pride and own narcissism that he will forego everything else. And perhaps this God of forces is also the devil, the prince of the power of the air. In verse 39, "Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with strange gods, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory, and he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land for gain. And then we go to turn to chapter 7, verse 25 of Daniel. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they that shall be given into his hand unto a time, a times, and a dividing of time, which is 3.5 years. So I don't know. I know that he has that rule for a period of time, but we don't know when the actual rapture will take place. But let us keep going, and we'll take a look at the rest of this in verse 40. And at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots and with horsemen, and with many ships, and he shall enter into the countries, and shall overflow and pass over. He shall enter also into the glorious land, and many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape out of the hand, even Edom and Moab, and the chief of the children of Ammon. You know, there are some that think the Arab nations are going to rise, and they're going to come against this evil king. But what do we also see in Mathew? We see that there will be wars and rumors of wars as these things close out and get close to the end. Then we go back again to Daniel. And what we're going to do with Daniel is look at 7:26. And the kingdom and dominion and greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Here, light in the darkness. In the end, God is going to take control of all of the things that are going on. He is going to reign. All right, so we see these things that Jesus in verse 26 shall sit and take away all his dominion to consume and destroy it until the end. So Jesus is going to intervene. And we see that also here as we go into the book of Mathew again. It says here in verse 29 of chapter 24, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So God is going to take control. We just don't know sometimes where the things are going to fit in. We know there's going to be a 7-year tribulation. We know there's going to be a midpoint. We just read about that this king will be able to reign for 3.5 years, and then he's going to fall. And there's going to be armies coming against him, and they're going to enter Jerusalem. So the glorious city is Jerusalem. They're going to enter into that, and they're going to wreak havoc on Israel. They're going to come down on Israel. This is why Jesus warns that when you see the abomination of desolation, to run to the hills, get out of Israel, get out of Jerusalem, because judgment's going to be coming, but it's going to be coming from the enemy. And God is not going to restrain him until it is his time, the last days, to come and to judge. So one of the other things that I'll just bring up, when you go through the book of Daniel, and you go to especially chapter 11, there is some confusion sometimes because there is a break point. It seems that when you get to verse 36, what happens? It's talking future. Prior to verse 36, it is talking past. You know, there was a time when, judgment came upon Israel, back prior to Jesus Christ, and they were judged, the period of the Maccabees. But 36 onward looks forward to the last days. I hope this helps a little bit. I hope it's sets the stage as we start going further in and breaking the seal, the third and fourth seals in chapter 6. So until next time, may Jesus increase as we decrease.